But yeah, The Wanderer by Status Quo, I just remember loving it. And I remember it would have been one of the first songs I kind of danced around the kitchen to, like, with me ma. Because, again, it was another shitty kind of 12-bar blues, kind of garbage. But, like, because of that, you can do the same dance. Like,
true.
That you do to the fucking...
And you're not going to be thrown off by some middle eight.
It's not happening. The middle eight is they just stop and the drums keep going.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Back to the same.
Exactly. Yeah, listen, it's a Status Quo song. It's absolutely the same as 99% of other Status Quo songs, but it was the first Status Quo song I remember liking. And because of that, I always kind of kept my toe in the Quo.
Oh, Jesus.
Are
you thinking about that?
No, that came to me naturally. This is...
It's not too late to edit that.
No, I'm keeping it. What's your next one?
Speed Demon by Michael Jackson from the album Bad. Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
This album was the first album I ever owned. It was bought for me.
Yeah.
Like, just possibly there was some sort of cartoon soundtrack like Mask or something like that before. No. I remember this distinctively, getting this on tape in 88. So I wasn't even born yet, like. I was very much born.
You were born at a very young age.
Yeah. Speed Demon isn't a single, and no, hang on, is it a single? I don't know, because the movie Moonwalker confuses me. It's in Moonwalker when he dances with the rabbit.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And
I haven't seen that film since I was very, very young.
Makes no sense.
That's funny, and it will stay unwatched. I'm going to be brutally honest with you.
Although, saying that, Joe Pesci smacking a kid around was dark.
I love the video game.
Oh, so good.
I loved the video game. Obsessed with the video game.
One of the best.
Yeah, super.
Yeah.
But the movie itself was just absolute madness.
Yeah, the movie was just to kind of pump up him and Bad and probably the tour. But this wasn't ever really played. It has a bass line that is, I'm pretty sure, it's definitely not played on bass. It's programmed on keyboard. And oh my God, I love Speed Demon. I could listen to that. I used to listen to the Bad album 7 times a day for about a year solid. No word of a lie.
That's autism. Pretty much.
Maybe.
Pretty much.
Maybe. But I love that so much.
Do you have Michael Jackson autism?
Possibly. You see, I was mad about him. I think he would have been mad about me.
But you were young enough. You know?
It's the joke. Could have been left at that.
I will agree. When I was young, was absolutely obsessed with Michael Jackson.
There's nothing else like him.
There was nothing. To the point where...
He's from space.
Exactly, he's an alien. To the point where...
Where that behaviour's probably okay.
It was probably perfectly fine. That's the way they challenge their young. But it's a rite of passage on his planet.
Oh, no.
But anyway, I was obsessed with Michal. And I remember, like, my neighbours and stuff, they had, like, a camcorder, and he used to come in and videotape me dancing.
Do you know what? I'm glad you brought this up, because that means I'm going to tell my story, because I was going to stay away, but go on.
But they used to come in and videotape me dancing, and they used to call me Old Spaghetti Legs. Right? You can ask me ma or me dad. They would say, go in and get a video of Old Spaghetti Legs there. And I just go in. I had no idea how to dance. I didn't go to fucking Billy Barry school or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'd literally just stand there and I'd wobble me legs like an absolute maniac, while kind of throwing my arms around, flopping to whatever garbage fucking was on the telly. And in particular, if it was Michael Jackson, I'd be trying to moonwalk, and of course you couldn't. Trying to do all that bullshit in the kitchen, in the sitting room. And you know, like a Friday night, your parents would go out and they come home with, like, you know, the rest of the swingers club, and they'd be but they'd always bring people back.
Car keys in the bowl.
Yeah, but you know, like, pub used to close like 9 o'clock, you know. So fucking everybody be back in someone's house, and at some stage it had to be your parents' house, just railing on each other while you sat there with the camcorder.
Oh wow.
But anyway, so you're there.
I can't believe we're talking about something like this in the Michael Jackson segment.
I know, well, gates opened. But yeah, they'd all be sitting around locked, drinking kind of Bushmills and cans of stout, and they'd get you out of bed. They get not you. They get me out of bed.
No,
to come down.
They did, not your parents.
Press
my
play,
ones did.
yeah. Press play on the tape recorder. You know, whatever shite they recorded off 2FM that day, whatever songs, because nobody was buying it back then. It was too poor.
Yeah.
The famine was just wrapping up, and there was nothing to eat, so there was definitely no money for cassettes. So They get me out of bed and they'd say, right, come on, you have to come downstairs and entertain the neighbours and the fans for ages.
Yeah.
But I absolutely agree. Michael Jackson was just a phenomenon. An absolute phenomenon.
I also danced every single day. I didn't want to say that. When I was listening to that album 7 times a day, I wasn't just sitting there.
That was the physical reaction to listen to that music.
I was bouncing around the parlour.
Well, I didn't think you were sitting in the corner
really
with a clove cigarette, you know what I mean? At fucking 5.
Yeah. And I was absolutely... And people, like my sisters used to come in and be like, slagging me. But then I have a feeling I got good because the slagging stopped and it was like, you're actually all right. And if my sisters or any of my family...
a compliment.
That, it was like, I must have been doing something right. You know what I mean? Like, because I mean, we're a really slaggy family. Yeah. And much like that, I have another story later about getting called out about to
dance for the neighbours.
For the neighbours.
Yeah, yeah. There was just a thing that happened in the 80s.
And I think, to be fair, it's in The Simpsons as well, isn't it?
I don't know.
It is.
Could be. It's just a thing that happened in the 80s.
They get Bart out of bed to come down and dance.
Do they?
Come on, act like a monkey. Do the thing.
Do the Bartman or whatever. Yeah. Absolutely was a thing.
So
100%. 100% the thing.
I'm glad that we got to talk about Michael Jackson without getting weird.
Me too. Me too.
What's your next one?
My next one is 1992, and something special happened. The first Body Count album came out.
Oh, I remember.
And
so visceral.
It was just, it sounded like it was recorded in your granddad's wooden shed. It does not sound good. Production value was for nothing because nobody had ever done this properly before. It was so new. It was so... experimental is the wrong word because experimental means it's pushing boundaries. This didn't push boundaries. This were just kind of 3-chord trick metal songs with shitty solos. Like
they were, you know what? They were bad solos, but I can't imagine a good solo on those songs. It wouldn't have suited them. Do you know that way?
None of the lads could really play. That was the beauty of it.
Yeah, exactly.
It was more of a punk aesthetic to being in a heavy metal band.
Yeah.
And like, I'd never heard kind of rap rock or rap metal. Didn't really exist. There was elements of it. Like even Rage Against the Machine was like a year or so later.
Yeah.
And like the song I picked was KKK Bitch. Because it's just that chorus that like that set me off. Because there's on the original version of that album there's 18 songs. 18.
Wasn't Cop Killer obviously taken off?
We never got Cop Killer. Cop Killer is one of these internet things that people talk about. Nobody. Germany got Cop Killer for 5 minutes. You'll find pressings of the Body Count first album. I think the only country that got pressings with Cop Killer on it was Germany. I believe.
Worth €8 million.
They're worth a few bob, but like, you can get Cop Killer on 12-inch
you can buy it
as well. You can buy it separately.
Exactly,
you know? Why they haven't re-released a Cop Killer on me, it's beyond me. Especially now, Body Count are having such a big resurgence. But that song, KKK Bitch.
To be fair to the resurgence, they did put out a few good albums again not too long ago. Am I right?
The last two are super.
Yeah. And they are fantastic live.
They're very good. Well, they have people in there that can play now.
Yeah.
Everyone that's in the band is decent.
He's very awkward live because he starts, everything's like snowflake generation and men are being kept down like, oh, stop, man, stop that with this.
He's in his 50s.
I know.
He collects Maseratis.
Yeah.
His board has like literally the biggest tits you've ever seen in your entire life. And they're walking around with fucking like their kid with an AK-47 strapped to his back or something. Like he's trying to be the personification of like the 90s male. Seeing that he came to prominence in the 80s, but the 90s is where he lived. You know what I mean? One of the original gangster rappers.
Yeah.
You know, it's all fucking man this, man that, shoot him, fucking slap that hoe, etc., so on and so forth. Like you can't. It's definitely a show because. The music itself is
beautifully juvenile.
It's very. There's no depth to any of it.
It's almost like Limp Bizkit. They have to have looked at Body Count so much.
Limp Bizkit 100%.
Let's do that for white people.
Everyone did. Everybody in that world. There's no chance they didn't look at the framework set out by Body Count.
Yeah.
They blazed trails. The Rage Against the Machine's first big gig was supporting Body Count.
Yeah.
Right. They had it. They had it from the get-go. And also an incredibly important band for bridging genres and people.
Yeah.
We talked about this before. we talk about the Prodigy Music for the Jilted Generation, was the album that brought kind of the rockers to the dance and the dance to the rockers and all that kind of
Good
stuff.
podcast. We should do that.
But like this introduced people to Ice-T. Now I'd been listening. It sounds like a hipster thing, but I'd been listening to Ice-T before Body Count. I'd heard. Bits of,
the albums, you had. To be fair,
like Power and stuff like that, I was obsessed with all those albums because I always loved hip hop and I always loved rap. But when this lad came out, and I was able to show my friends like actual Ice-T albums after they got into Body Count, was like a big plus for me. Because they were like, oh my God, Body Count's amazing, KKK bitch, and There Goes the Neighborhood, and blah, blah, blah. And
There Goes the Neighborhood is probably my favourite song.
It's super.
Just because lyrically it's brilliant. Yeah. And it's real, like,
it's not really a song either.
You don't ever hear many songs about a black band starting in that kind of music and how like no one. But it wasn't a crybaby. It wasn't like
no.
Take us seriously. It was like fucking. We're here.
You,
whether you like it or
not.
Don't
you know? Rock's just for whites. Yeah, exactly.
It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, it's super. It's a great introduction to the band. Yeah. But yeah, 1992, Body Count, KKK bitch. It's. I don't know if it's my favorite song on the album, but it's most definitely the one I listen to most.
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid, but it was so important at the time.
Yeah.
Right. What's your next one?
My next one is from '97. I really would have thought this was earlier, but it's not. It's Timber by Cold Cut.
All right.
The dance kind of electronic-y guys from London. The first time I think the first time I heard this, and probably a lot of people would be saying, would have been like those chill out zones on MTV. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
And I always actually genuinely used to stay up till I heard this come on and then I got to bed. Because I just had to hear it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I could, I think the album, I couldn't find the album anyway around this time, for whatever reason. Maybe I just didn't look very hard enough. I eventually got it, so I didn't have to stay up watching it on MTV all the time. It's just such an incredible song. It's got chainsaws and all tree cutting equipment, because it's about cutting down the rainforest and it has that vibe about it. And the kind of singers, Amazonian singers, Jesus, I don't know. What's that voice? That waily kind of, I don't know. Speaking of the Amazon, that shit's on fire.
The Amazon, apparently, according to Facebook, the Amazon's on fire. I don't know. I haven't seen it personally. I hope it's not.
It is. The Brazilian Amazon is burning at an astounding rate.
Put it out.
Yeah, I think they're having a bit of trouble.
I think they should just put it out, because I don't like that.
And that's how that will be sorted.
Good night. See you next week.
Yeah. Timber by Cold Cut. I went out and got the album. I don't think I understood the album. I hated it, actually. I hated most of it. It didn't make any sense to me at the time. I think when I went back to listen to it a few years ago, I got it a bit more, but it wasn't this song. This happened a lot. You'd buy the album and you'd be like, where's
the song I want? Yeah.
The song I wanted is on it,
but that's because when you're young, you're stupid. You'd go into a Golden Discs or Dolphin Discs or something, and you say you knew you were looking for whatever band fucking ABC, right? Yeah. And you go in and you look at the ABC section, and the new album's 20 quid, but you've only got 12, so you buy the one that's fucking 11. You know what I mean? Yeah. And of course it doesn't have the songs in it.
But it's like when they used to release those compilations. Remember, like, an artist would be with a record label before they got famous.
Yeah.
And they'd release something called, let's just say,
the Mercury years.
Yeah, Neil Sedaka is great, but they'd call it Greatest Hits.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Because they're allowed to.
The Pie years.
Because they sometimes wouldn't even write that. They just write the best of.
Yeah. The classic hits of.
And they would be allowed because that's a subjective term.
Of course it is.
Well, they couldn't write number ones. That'd be silly. Yeah. That's the thing. But yeah, I know what you mean by that. And that used to. There was a crowd who used to do it. They had a black and gold coverage. Remember, they used to release the shittiest, crappiest. There was all like Bob Marley all the times.
Yeah.
They would release these crappy versions of songs that were almost probably public domain songs, and they put them on compilation and called it the best of. That was a massive thing in the early 2000s as well. But no, I got this album. It was a double album, and I had that enhanced CD crack. I didn't really understand a lot of what was going on the rest of the album. It was a bit. But it's a classic album, apparently, in that style of music. I was in it for this song. I still listen to this song regularly. It's just, the build-up is so good, the little chord changes and all that, and all the machinery that are sampled on it just sounds killer. It sounds industrial. It is industrial in a way.
I remember Cold Cut around that time, because there was a weird movement of electronic music that wasn't super melodic, and you had groups like the Future Sound of London.
Yeah.
And it might have been around that time, maybe a little bit later. I can't remember. They had a song called "We Have Explosive," and it's fucking incredible. Right. But it's the same type of